So the maiden voyage has happened. Old Souls Sage Advice is now streaming live to the two primary Facebook accounts, Old Soul Sage Advice Facebook account and the Marketing Hope podcast show page is kind of supporting this new launch of this new podcast. And I'd like to interview or introduce my co-host, John Foust. And I need to move this window up to a different screen so I'm not acting like I'm not looking at a camera. That's one of my pet peeves is when somebody has a camera on a different screen and they're not talking to the audience, But
can I just say this? Watching our initial episode, I learned a lot. I looked at myself and realized I had to be more engaged of looking straight forward.
Yes.
And I really don't like looking at myself.
I'm going to call this Old Soul Sage Advice. And I like that, by the way, John. I think that's awesome. And really, the thing that's happening is we're just two old guys getting together talking about things, right?
Yep.
And, I feel like a lot of times the way that we've learned in the past as a society has kind of gone away because the young guys are not sitting around with the old guys on the job site anymore or whatever. And, some of that sage wisdom gets lost, and this podcast is going to be about hoping that, we can have guests on that feel like they have something to offer. But it's for the younger people to get a little bit of input from the older generation. And more importantly, our mistakes, right, John?
Yep, absolutely. I've made more than my share through the years, but that's how I've learned. So, yes.
And that's really the best skill that I've ever developed is to learn from my mistakes. We never lose. We only learn. So we either win or we learn. And if I can do some learning off somebody else, I'd love that because I don't have to get the bandages out. I talked to a buddy of mine who's a deca-millionaire and he does some investing and he buys some tax liens. And he won a shopping center on this tax lien, which nobody ever does. Nobody ever wins a property. You pay the taxes for 3 years, get the interest, and somebody buys it back. Rarely do you ever get the property unless it's shit or there's something wrong with it or whatever. But he got this shopping center for paying $150,000 in back taxes. And he talked to his buddy who was, a 300 millionaire. And his buddy said, don't take that property. It was like a $2 million shopping center. He could have got it for $150,000. He said, don't take that property. And he said, don't take that property because it has a dry cleaner. And apparently my buddy Adam didn't know, and I didn't know, that if you buy a property with a dry cleaner, it could cost you $5 million in remediation because of the chemicals they use. And
very interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So he gave away $150,000 to not lose $5 million on getting this $2 million shopping center. And that's what I call sage advice from an old soul, because a young guy or me would have jumped on that and been in big trouble.
So did he lose
Yes.
150,000?
Gone.
But
you live and you learn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, 150,000 is a lot better than getting tied into something to find out that I had a friend that once upon a time bought an athletic club, put a lot of money into it. Things were starting to roll. Then the city came back and said, you do know that this property, this club, owes X hundred of thousands of dollars in past water bills. He was unaware. Should have done his due diligence, but he didn't. And everything went south from there.
So he bought the club and there was back water bills?
Yeah, and I'm going to keep it vague because I don't want to put it out there in particular. But yes, that is what happened.
Wow.
And it was
amazing that a water bill could sink a business.
Well, it was a long-standing situation, and he had not, and he's a pretty diligent guy. I was shocked when it happened. And that combined with a couple of other things, he just couldn't make it work. So he lost a pretty fair amount of money.
You know, and that's one of the things, John, that I hope that this show provides for people. And you don't have to be a young person to be needing this help. You know, I meet with a doctors group, and doctors are notoriously bad with money, and they'll tell you. But these doctors that I meet with, they need this kind of advice because they're taking their huge incomes and they're doing all this stuff. And, if you make a mistake, it hurts, so everybody needs a little bit of help,
And don't you think, I mean, I look back at my life and I tell people I was put in a position when I was young to make adult decisions. I was just trying to deal with my own personal situation. Then I was making adult decisions. And through the years, I kind of had to do that. And people would say, I don't understand why you made that decision. And I'll go, because I was the decision maker. And I didn't have anybody else to go to help me make the decision. I just did the best I could. So I'm very appreciative to listen to people that know about something. I'll learn until the day I die.
Well, and that's, John, as we build the format, I'm going to try and teach people how this content marketing works from the agency by doing these community service type shows that we're doing. And one of the things that we're developing, and for people to go to the Old Souls page and like the page and make comments on the content on the page. And we're going to have these broadcasts on the page. And I encourage people that are joining the page to actively engage with the page and ask questions. And that way, the next show that we have will deal with any questions from the page.
And Mark, let me ask you this. On that same topic, people can jump in there and make a suggestion for a topic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, and the topic can be wide and varied. What was your guys' biggest mistake in life? What was your biggest win when you were talking about wealth building? You can ask us questions. And we're not going to know all the answers, but we are going to probably have experience based on where we're coming from that might give people a little bit of, you know, an idea of what we did, if it was good, or what we did and if it was bad.
Yep.
You know, then they can get help otherwise. But the Facebook page is where we start growing the social network. And then now we're doing the show. We're getting people to know a little bit about us. And I want people that have businesses to watch this show and realize that we provide content marketing for small businesses. And my whole team at Marketing Hope and at the Synergy Network can provide spokesmodels or representatives or whatever it is to make content, splice it up, put a logo on it, then let you put it back through your social media and get that message to your customers. And I was in a executive group last week, and they have all determined that TikTok, YouTube, and Reels are the new CNN, the new CBS. You know, these people are getting their news in micro format. And as entrepreneurs, we have to learn the new format and get entertaining content, engaging edutainment, you know, education.
I like that. It's a good word.
Right? I don't know if I just made that up or if
You know
I've heard.
what?
You know, you listen to too many podcasts, you don't know what your own thoughts are.
You know what? I think you did, but I make up words all the time. So that's a good one. I like it.
So you provide that content for these people, and then the sponsorships happen, you know, and the small businesses can pay a little bit of money to an agency like ours and make valid content, and then do the sharing themselves, you know, do the sharing to their audience, because 80% of customers and customer referrals is the healthy amount of people in your customer base. 20% is new customers that is derived from advertising and, you know, promotion and that kind of thing. So if you're needing more than 20% new customers brought into your company, you're probably not doing a good job taking care of your current base of customers and your previous customers and referrals and testimonials, that kind of thing. And that's what we help with, you know. So actually, I'm proving my point on the Old Soul Show, promoting my marketing business because of our experience, because I'm old. You know, I've been doing marketing since.
You know, you are the marketing master.
Christ was a child. You know, people don't believe me, but I've been doing digital marketing since before the internet was invented.
You know what? You know what? I hope I don't screw up here. I may have to reach in here and get a charger. I see my battery on my phone is really low.
Well, while you're working on that,
you just keep talking. You're the smart one of the group.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm the sage. I'm the sage advice for life in general. You are the marketing intellectual side of the equation.
I will tell you that you know, in life we need each other, and this is a little break for me to give you some sage advice as an audience member.
Cool.
Every morning that I get up, my prayer every morning is, God, who can I help today? And then I try to listen, you know, and whoever it is, I reach out to them. I try to listen. And if I can help somebody every day, I try to do that, because my life has been so full of blessings and resources that have been given to me that it's just my way that I operate, and I worry about them and solving their problems. And oddly enough, I don't worry about me at all, because I'm taken care of. And I went to a new nephrologist here in Oklahoma, and
I'm sorry, a what?
a nephrologist, a kidney doctor.
Okay.
But I've been having some problems, getting my care aligned. And honestly, I've never worried about it. And today all the pieces fell together, and they're going to get me to the kidney transplant center in OU, and they're going to get me to a couple of other doctors I need to get my kidney transplant approved and back on track. But the people in the office were fighting for me. My wife has been fighting for me, and everybody is taking care of things for me personally. And most of my time is spent on how can I help somebody else that day. And
Mark, might I say something for people that don't know Mark? I've known Mark now for damn near 40 years.
Right.
And when him and his ex-wife were members at the Aurora Athletic Club. And Mark went down the road. He started Action Computers. It was amazingly successful. But one of the things I think we all know in life, regardless of how famous you are, what a great athlete you might have been, whatever, adversity strikes. And adversity doesn't care if you're rich. It doesn't matter if you're famous. None of those things matter. And Mark, and I'm just doing this in general, kind of went through a stage of dealing with diabetes. And he dealt with that. A few years back, he moved to Oklahoma. Then I'm talking to someone, and it's like, well, yeah, Mark's going to have to get a kidney transplant. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And, his wife's stepping in. She's going to be the donor. But
isn't that great?
It is. It's amazing. When I have told people that, and they go, really? And I go, yeah, don't ask me details. I just know that that's it. But the moral to the story is this, is that the real measure of a person, everybody has problems. And those that have the ability to rise to the occasion and tackle their problem, and in the midst of it all, still keep a good attitude and try to help others, it's huge beyond imagination. And that is, and I'm not just blowing smoke, that's one of the things about Mark that I really appreciate, is that he's dealing with the issues he has, and they're pretty serious, but he's still trying to help people. He's still trying to do things. And that alone is a lesson that people need to be aware of and look at Mark and think about that when he talks about some of these things. I admire that.
John, I really appreciate you saying that. And I got to be honest with you, when I hear you talk about, dealing with your problems and helping others, I aspire to that. I mean, that's when I hear those words, I think, God, I want to be that way, and to hear somebody like you say that you've seen me in that light, that's wonderful for me, because I'm trying to be good at that, yep. And if younger people can see that I'm doing that, and that's important to me,
yep.
And I tell them, look, this is what had made me rich, both in friends and dollars and everything else. And if these young people are thinking, well, you know, he's crazy and he's old, I might listen to him. And then they reach down and help somebody else, and then something good happens to them. You know, I think that's, you know, that's our job. That's the old soul's job, is to show them all that, you know, the more you try to help somebody else, the more you're going to get back yourself.
You know, I have many sayings, which I'm sure people will get tired of, but one of them is do what you do for the right reasons, not looking for something in return. Once you come to grips with that I am going to help this person, I'm going to do the best I can to help them, they may reward you, they may not. But as long as they're not hurting you, you did the right thing.
And well, and even if they do hurt you, because that happens.
Oh yeah.
I say
absolutely.
Whatever they do is between them and God, and whatever I do is between me and God.
Yep.
And it gets sorted out after that. Plus, about 100 people, you hit a home run.
Yeah.
And everything else is a gradient from 0 to whatever. But those 1 in 100 people call me up and say, Mark, you changed my life. You know, Mark, like, and I'll actually name one of my 100, Jeff Myers, who was a vice president at Action Computers, and now he's gone on to be an executive for a couple of other companies. But he's one of my 100. His little boys are going to have a different life than they ever would have thought of had Jeff and I not met. You know, he was turned into my bonus son. He lost his dad. And, you know, I got more than professionally entwined with him, you know, because I had to slap him on the back of the head with his finances and save his money and buy a house and, you know, build his wealth and that kind of thing. But, you know, he's called me before, and we'll actually probably have him on Old Souls one time just to hand out his sage advice. Yeah. He embodies all of that. He doesn't have any debt. He's got a house that's halfway paid off. He's investing in business, you know, and he told me, Mark, it's because of all the care and advice that you've given me. And to me, whoa, you know, that's the highest achievement that I can get in life, is that.
Yep. Nope.
That's the true wealth.
You know, I agree. And a couple of years ago, out of nowhere, I get an email, and I'll give the guy's name. Back when I was heavily involved with racquetball, and I was in charge of Echelon's player program.
Are you holding your phone?
I am, because I got the charger in. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I can't.
Do you want to try to turn it on its side?
Yeah.
Unless it'll auto rotate.
Everybody. I'm good, unless it's bothering everybody. So
we'll just take our Dramamine.
Yeah. So anyway, Doug was one of our, open state racquetball champs, and he was a phenomenal talent, but he was also a problem child, and he had court demeanor issues. He just kind of worked against himself. And I was in charge of Echelon's player program for Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah. And I had to make a hard decision. He's my best player on my program. And I dropped him. Well.
And that's tough. That's a tough coaching decision to make.
And he was a friend. And so decades go by, maybe 2 years ago or something. I get an email. Hey, John, Doug Zirkle. I'm like, oh, crap. Where'd this come from? And he basically wrote the nicest email. And he said, you know, you dropping me from the program was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me.
I get that.
Because it forced me, said I did not like it, and I did not like it for years, but it had an impact, and I just wanted to reach back out and say thank you for all the things you tried to do for me. And that was huge. I mean, that made me
You know,
feel,
John, that aligns with, don't try to be your kid's friend. You're their parent.
yep,
And they're not supposed to, it's not supposed to be a popularity contest test. They don't like you, but that's not what it's all about. And when you step in that role of bonus dad or coach or mentor, we're not trying to make them like us necessarily when you're in that role. We're trying to say, hey, what are you doing? You have $1,000 in subscriptions, $10,000 in credit card debt, and you're ordering DoorDash. What the hell are you doing?
correct.
And I don't want to be nice. I want to figure out what the hell's going on. You asked me for your help, for my help, and then you've just bought a brand new $70,000 truck.
Exactly.
You make 60,000, and you ask me what I think you should do. Sell the truck, figure out where the grocery store is, end all the subscriptions, and get your shit together. And people don't like to hear that. But
No.
that's what they need to hear. And after they get on the right track and they own 3 or 4 houses, they call you back up and say, thank God for you.
Well, and the road to success, be it financial or personal or athletically, it's a hard road. You have to make sacrifices. I think you and I talked about this. When my involvement with the U.S. team, it wasn't because I was a great player. I was never a great player, but I was a good player, and I was willing to sacrifice what I knew for the betterment of the team. And it was never about me. I purposely stayed to the side because I'm not the player.
Right.
And people appreciated that. They appreciated that someone was in their corner. They're not trying to jump out and take the limelight away. Like I said, it was just kind of grunt work. And that's what I did. And my reward was being a 5-time member of the U.S. national racquetball team. And that works for me.
John, you have had a life full of athleticism and competition and that kind of thing. And I think I can ask you this as somebody who's an expert at what I'm about ready to say. There are people that don't understand what it's like to be a member of a team. And when you get that, and you see that you're contributing in a certain way, others are contributing in a certain way to this group, that it lasts far longer than anyone ever thought it would, because you accomplish things together that you could never accomplish separately.
Yep.
And I think that's the most important thing in life, because when you're in business, you're just a big team.
Yep.
When you're a family, you're a team. When whatever it is, if you learn how to be a team, it's a glorious thing to have that skill. What do you think of that?
Oh, you're absolutely correct. And it goes across the board, as you said. family, friends, whatever it may be. I mean, there's just an example in the paper today about one of the Denver Broncos, and the guy is young. He's an OU guy.
Well, he must be good.
Marvin Mims. And he had, before the Buffalo game, somebody asked him, I guess they said something like, one of the Buffalo guys said, fans said, yeah, you're going to get 0 catches today. You know, we got you locked up. And because he's young and he's new on the team as of, I think, last year, he replied and he said, well, yeah, probably, because they're not throwing the ball to me. Yeah, wrong answer.
Yeah.
You know, but he is young and he's doing a great job as a punt returner. But I'm sure somewhere in the locker room, somebody had to say, yeah, bad answer.
Different answer.
Yeah, just,
because you open the door.
Be huge on the team.
You open the door. So I'm going to talk about it.
Don't be doing OUSU stuff.
No, I'm not.
Don't make me come over there.
I'm not going to do that right now. Okay. But what I am going to say is, oh my God, with that Bills game.
You know what?
I mean,
it's all I want to say about the Broncos. I and my buddy Steve will tell you that I have said this. Even earlier in the year, I would turn to him and I would say, Steve, this team is closer to being good than they are bad. Yeah, I'm sure. No, I'm telling you, they are. And they have been winning ugly, but they have new players, new relationships, new coaches. And every week that they win, they just bring the team together. And I'm a results-oriented athlete. I would like to win. If I hit a golf shot, if I hit the best golf shot of my life and it hits a tree and then it jumps on the green, I'm taking it. Because I've hit other good shots that were great. They hit a tree and I end up in the woods. I just want to win. And so, yes.
Well, it helps you win when the other team leaves 12 players on the field. Oh my God.
You know, and people were talking about that. And oh my God, you know, Broncos are so lucky. You know, there's 12. And my response is, you know what? That's on them.
Oh, I know.
That's not on the Broncos.
My son-in-law is a dyed-in-the-wool Bills Mafia, and they were at the game. Oh. He took his kid and his wife to the game, and my daughter was wearing her Bronco gear at the stadium. And he's a poor loser. He's a lot like you. He is not a good loser. And man,
I'm a good sport. I'm a poor loser.
Yeah, Brandon's a poor loser and a poor sport sometimes. He just can't stand it. And I just don't call him after a Bills loss, 2 or 3 days. We have to let it cool down. But sir, we are at the top of the hour of our inaugural Old Souls show. And I want to tell you, I look forward to meeting with you weekly and helping to outline our mistakes and the things that we have completely screwed up in our lives to help these young ones that are traveling behind us not have to fall in the same holes that we've fallen in. I really encourage everybody to ask us questions. Join the page, Old Souls on Facebook, Sage Advice. And, drop in and give us your favorite meme or your favorite saying that your dad used to say or whatever, and let's build a community over at Old Souls. And, we'll be here for you every week. And if it's just me and John and one other person, we're good with that.
Perfect.
So,
Mark, thanks.
John, I'm going to give you the last 30 seconds.
I'm good. Thanks for, you did a great job today. Good topics, and we're learning right along with you guys. We think we have some things that can help people, but we're open to suggestions, and we want to hear what you have to say. Okay, Mark.
See y'all next week. And for John Foust and Mark Hope, we're going to sign off of the Old Souls podcast. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything, go ahead and look at us on Facebook for now and other medias as we develop it.